Hello and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, what I like to do is to try to create videos that I would have found helpful when I first started buying precious metals, like the silverware you see before you, or gold, jewelry, these different things at thrift shops and garage sales. I started doing this almost 4 years ago now, and these are different things that I've learned along the way. I'm actually quite excited about today's video because I was able to access the XRF machine, which is an X-ray machine that analyzes the content of metal. The local pawn shop is wonderful, and I was able to get a little bit of time, and we went through and we did an XRF on each of these pieces. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about what these are. They are all ones that were kind of a mystery to me, and when you're out and about and you're finding silverware, sometimes you'll look at something and you go, man, what on earth is going on with this? And we're going to start with this piece because it does have a mark on it. Not all of these have marks, but this one does have a mark, and I have not been able to figure out what on earth the mark is. Now, the first thing I'm going to do with this, though, is I'm going to show you why I suspected that it wasn't just silver plate. So if we look at this, there's definitely a little bit of tarnish. See this black tarnish we've got here? That's always a good sign for silver. Now, it might mean thick silver plate, but that sort of black color is good. And then we also have a lot of damage here, but the damage isn't showing a different metal. And especially if you look up at the tip here, there's a lot of damage, but it's still the same metal throughout. So despite this having gone maybe through a garbage disposal, it only exposed the metal underneath. Now, here's the marking down here. Best I can tell is it looks like a P in a shield maybe, and then a 100K. If anyone knows what this marking is, I would very much appreciate knowing. Now, what I'm going to do at this point, now that you know why I picked this one out and why I wanted to put it on the machine, I'm going to pause the video and I'm going to do the first of the XRF results. Now, what you're going to see is you're going to see this put into the X-ray machine, and then the machine will give a readout of the metal contents that it sees within this. Now, this one came out about 93, almost 94% silver. So actually better than sterling, which is 92.5%. But, and this is very important, not 999. Pieces that are plated, that are thickly plated, will fool the machine into thinking that it's solid. And when that happens, it will be coming up as 39's fine or 99 point something. And I believe the reason for this is that if you're plating something, you're not plating it with sterling. You're plating it with silver. I don't even know if it's possible to electroplate something with silver that isn't pure. I believe the process actually deposits pure silver on the surface. So the machine will read plate as pure, but pure silver, as we know from a previous video, in fact, I'll grab something. Here we have some pure silver, is very malleable. You see how bent this is? And I'll try to put a little pip here that links to the video talking about this. Pure silver, if something was pure silver, you could just bend it with your hands, and I'm not going to do that because I like my little cup. So when the machine comes up and says, hey, this is pure silver, you know that all you got to do to double check that is to bend it. And if it bends, well, you know, and it's thick and it bends, then yeah, maybe it is pure silver. Maybe some madman made a piece out of pure silver. But if it doesn't bend, then you know you've got plate. So when something comes up as less than 99, you know that you're actually looking at something that has that metal content throughout it, which is what this piece is, which is a very strange piece. So without further ado, the first of the XRF.
Nice.
93, no, 94? What do we think?
That's a lot of silver.
Yeah, but not sterling. It's more than
silver,
sterling.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, sterling's only 925. So.
That's right. All right, I hope you found that one interesting. What we're going to do now is we're going to move on to another piece right here. Now, this was in a previous video. Now, I don't know if I can get the pip to come up right here because my YouTube skills are sadly lacking. But you might have been curious about this one. I was curious about this one. It looks really dang good. And the maker is Colonial Silver. But this is silver plate. And I will now show you what silver plate looks like on that machine. That is not sterling, is it?
No.
That is plate. All right, so now that we've seen what silver plate looks like, we'll just go ahead and remove you. In fact, you're going to go straight to my silver plate pile over here somewhere. All right. You're gone. Your silver plate. The next one we're going to talk about is this one. Now, these little spoons are obviously going to be Egyptian, like souvenir spoons. And I found quite a few of these that are silver plate. This one, however, comes up as over 50% silver. I think this XRF reading came up as like 53, 54%, which is going to be different than the plate. You just saw what plate looks like, and the other ones of these that I found came up looking like that on the machine. So when something comes up as 50% silver or 60% silver, you know you've got something a little bit better. I mean, not sterling, obviously. Sterling is 92.5% silver. But this one is not your average souvenir. And you can see that we have a little bit of our nice toning, our nice tarnish. But there are no markings on this one, except for where I wrote 60%, which was roughly what it was coming up as last time we checked it out. And the reason I wrote that was because I was trying to figure out where the origin from this might be. And the folks at the pawn shop told me that this would probably be considered 60% silver, even though it's underneath. And that is one of the things that's become very clear to me when using that machine, is that even if something says it's a particular percentage of silver, usually it's not. But being somewhere around 60% tells you that this is from North Africa, most likely. Now, then the motif and everything else really tells you it's from North Africa. But 60% is or was a common amount of silver to use in silverware, flatware, in North Africa. So that's one of the cool things about this particular piece.
Busy?
Always. Yeah, it was.
All right, now that you've seen those results, I'm going to set this one up here. I'm going to talk about this one. This one's weird. This one's really weird. I do not know what to make of this one. Now, the reason that I liked it was because it looks good. I mean, it does not show any signs of plate. If you've been watching my videos, you know that there's usually a wear point here. I can't figure out this mark. Maybe someone out in YouTube land who knows more than me can tell me what is going on with this mark, especially in light of the metal content of this. But if you look real close, you see how it's like worn, it's chewed up, it's got a little bit of the tarnish that we like. But we don't have some kind of base metal coming through. It's all one piece, which in many cases might turn out to be nickel silver, but in this case it didn't. And in fact, you're going to see on the XRF machine that I check this twice because I'm so confused by the results. And we check it twice in 2 different places. The best place to check these on this machine, generally speaking, would be right here. But we also checked the bowl just to double check. And one of the readings came up at about 40% silver and one at about 50% silver. Also, for some reason, it came up as having some gold in it. Why this is, I don't know. I am hoping that somebody recognizes the mark on the back, and that can lead us to an answer about what on earth is going on with this weird little spoon. I also don't know if this bend was intentional. And I think the spoon is of, I found one similar to it, and it was within a glass sterling lidded container. Let me see if I can find that. Ah, here we are. So this was the closest, sorry, I'm zoomed out a little farther. This is the closest to it that I've seen, but I guess even this isn't right now that I pull it out and look at it. It just has some similarities. So I thought maybe this was a spoon for a container like this. I'm not sure, but I thought I would demonstrate that to show what I thought it might be. Oh, and if you're curious about this spoon, because you're like me and you just gotta know, this one is, I believe, Gorham. Yeah. Why can't all spoons be as easy to identify as this one? You've got your nice toning, you've got your nice color change where you can see it's been sticking out of the container. And you can see this toning matches that toning, and where it had less exposure to air, it stayed nicer. I might have to use this as an example in the future. This thing actually is showing how silver ages very nicely. But I'm distracted. Let's get back to on topic. So let's have a look at what the XRF results are for this one, and hopefully somebody can tell me what on earth is going on with it. What do we got? Okay. Why is it 40% silver?
Right, I don't know.
That's just dang weird. And do you think it was gold plated at one point, which is why it's coming up with the low carat gold thing?
Oh, is that what it is? You guys need some milk? In a meeting in the office.
Okay, so now that somebody knows exactly what this is and can tell me about it in the comments, let's look at these two. I'm going to set this one up here. One of the things about these two spoons is that you'll notice like they don't stack right. They're a little bit different. One's a little bit longer. The bowls are a slightly different shape. You can see the construction is a little bit different on both of them. And if you see here, both of them are completely devoid of markings. That said, you see them before you, and you see them before you because everything about them screams that they're sterling to me. Like if we grab another sterling out of our other pile here, you know, we're just looking, grab a different one. You know, we're looking at things like how this wears, how the bowl looks, what the color is. Let's see, we have more sterling over here. We got something different, don't we? That's a fork. Yeah, I think, oh wait, no, is that, no, those are forks. Is this different? No, same thing. Okay. So just like when you see sterling and you've been looking at sterling for a while, one of the things that will happen is you're like, wow, that's sterling. And that's what these screamed to me. But of course, they're completely devoid of markings, as you've seen. And I have a suspicion as to what they are, but I'm going to talk a little bit more about what that suspicion is after you've seen their metal content. So what would you say 93.2, 93, is that still sterling probably? And the machine just thinks there's some other stuff in there?
Well, you've dropped below sterling.
Oh, on this one? Oh yeah, done the 90.
Yeah.
Weird.
Right? I forgot.
Yep. About sterling, a little nicer than sterling. Completely unmarked. So one of them's, I think, pretty much spot on the sterling. One of them's slightly better or worse. I forget, but you know, you just saw it. But they are both sterling. As far as that machine is gonna tell us, they are sterling. Although being a little different metal content is interesting because it also adds to one of the differences that we're seeing between these two spoons. Now, someone else may be able to tell me what's going on with this definitively, and I hope you can. Please leave a comment if you can tell me why you have two completely unmarked. But they're nice. I mean, they're not insignificant spoons. They're well made. They're not as beautiful as, say some of these other spoons that are professionally made or beautifully engraved, or oh yeah, this one's beautifully engraved. I love this spoon. Just like, but I don't wonder if somebody was making these maybe with doing something like this in mind. Maybe it was a student silversmith, or someone going to. We have a lot of locally. I will find a fair bit of jewelry that's very clearly something that somebody was learning on. And we have a very good local jewelry program at our community college. And I believe at times they have also had, or in their silversmithing section, I'm sure they're probably looking at making or at least repairing flatware, which I think is maybe where these came from. I don't know. They were in a box of other silver that I found. In fact, I think they were in the same box as this. It was a large box that was like a lot of plate, but then things like this piece, which were, oh, this piece is cool. And I got to do a video specifically on what loth or loth is. You see where it says 13 and a quarter. That's an old Germanic notation for the silver content. But yeah, so it's a weird notation. And that box contains a lot of silver plate, yes, but half of it was things that were like 830 silver or 800 or loth silver, like that, L-O-T-H. Please, if I'm pronouncing that wrong, add a comment, let me know. I'd love to know how I'm supposed to pronounce that. But yeah, so these two were in there also. So I don't know exactly what was going on with that box. I actually found it in an antique shop. And it seemed to be where someone was taking out all the sterling that they were finding, but everything else they were just tossing in this box. And that's where these came from. So I don't know, just speculation. Maybe someone can tell me much more definitively. But I am actually going to someday engrave these. And that's my intent. These are going to be used to practice engraving when I get about my silversmithing. And we'll see how that works out. But that's going to be a while yet because my 3-year-old and my 6-year-old are not particularly good at helping me to have leisure time. All right, we're going to set all these aside and we're going to talk about one of my favorite pieces. Now, I found this. I was in, what was that? Yakima, Washington. And I bought at they had like a neighborhood garage sale in, actually it wasn't Yakima, it was Ellensburg, where Wazoo, Washington State University is. And they had a neighborhood garage sale. And in that neighborhood garage sale, there was somebody who had a bag full of silver plate. And in that giant bag of silver plate, which I bought for $1, this existed. And this is part of a 3-piece set. I was able to find one picture of the set. Really cool. Like it's a kid's set. So each of the pieces were different animals. And you'd give this to a kid, and they would have their silver, their silverware for special occasions or for any occasion, really. You can see it's a monkey, and that's his tail. I have not been able to complete the set yet. I hope someday to be able to add the other 2 pieces, but I have not. Now, the thing about this is that it is not sterling, but it is also not plate, which you will see right now. So AG is silver,
Yeah.
so 75%, 74% silver. That's kind of weird.
It's old.
And there you have it. 75% about silver. I don't know why they didn't make it sterling. Maybe the intent was to make it hardy for children so that children wouldn't destroy it. I think it's delightful, and I treasure it because I find it to be one of the most interesting little bits of anything that I've ever pulled out of a bag full of silver plate. I hope that this particular video has been of some use to you. It's one I've wanted to make for a while, but it can be a little bit of a challenge for me to actually film down at that pawn shop. The management has changed there recently, and there's a question about letting someone actually maybe make videos of things down there. So while that is panning out, we may be a little bit hit and miss. I might be able to pop in and get a reading, but I may not be able to. You're stainless. Go away. May not be able to actually give you the videos. So if you enjoyed this video, please, do the YouTube thing, like, subscribe, leave a comment. I really enjoy the silverware a lot. And one of my biggest hopes out of doing this kind of video is that people who have like family silver, family sterling, will be able to identify it and will be able to get an appreciation of what they have. I am honestly a little sad when I'm buying someone's sterling. I bought a number of different sterling, like like about that. I've got a YouTube video about that. If I can make this pip thing work out, there'll be a pip there about buying that. And there's a little bit of sterling in my family, and that is something that I will always treasure personally. And I feel like sometimes people don't necessarily know what they have, and they don't necessarily know how much history can be involved in what they have. And it's not that hard to polish. I've been pulling this out for holidays. I've been polishing it, washing it, very much enjoying using these things for what they were originally made to be used for. So my biggest hope out of these flatware videos is that maybe if you have some of these things around, that you can get a greater appreciation of what they are, and maybe keep them, maybe teach future generations what they are so that they can appreciate them too. Because good sterling, or the 13 1/4 loaf, or whatever on earth this is, will last for generations and generations and generations. And it can be cared for, and it can be used, and it's safe to eat off of. In fact, it's sterling is antimicrobial, so it's even better to eat off of than other things. So that's really what I'm hoping to get out of some of these videos. And I'm sorry if I'm rambling a little bit about this topic, but it actually is important to me, because it's sad to find things that people cared about and then the future generations didn't, and they end up in my hands. But I don't melt these things down. So at least they will continue to be preserved, and I'm hoping my children will have a real appreciation of these. So if you can, go out, hit your local thrift shop. This stuff is sitting in bins. I found a lot of this just sitting there. Find some treasure for yourself and pay $1 for it if you can.